Hello and welcome to the Creatives Off the Clock podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Whitehouse of SPW Design Media. Whether you are a creative person on or off the clock, we are so much more than what we create. On this podcast, I lift up stories, experiences, and passions of folks in our creative community and really dive into what caring and cultivating space for our creative self looks like. Thank you so much for listening. Hey everyone, Happy New Year. As I'm recording this, it is currently the 9th day of the new year of 2023. And, I feel like so many things happen around like the start of the year. Everybody just feels, just renewed and rejuvenated. People flock to the gym. Haven't been able to find a parking spot for a while. It's just sometimes I forget just how powerful the idea of starting over is. But I wanted to do kind of an episode that really delves into, this time of restarting, renewal, rejuvenation, intentions, and how that really is such a cornerstone to my creative process and just myself as a human being. So I might have mentioned before in previous episodes that I am a huge journaler. I have stacks of notebooks from 2009 onward. I feel like this past year, however, I did not write nearly as much. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But sometimes when I do return to writing and putting those thoughts down, I realize, wow, like this is really good for me. And I don't know why I don't do it more often. So I want to share a really amazing tool with you all. I promise this is not an ad. I just love this tool so much. It's called the YearCompass. That's with a capital Y and a capital C. And on the back of this document, you are able to download it for free online as like a PDF that you can print, or one that you can fill out digitally, whichever you're feeling. I know some people, love the act of typing, and that's what, how thought flows through them better. Some people like to write it out. I do generally like to print these out on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, just because I really like having that tangible feel, and I don't want to be distracted by a screen. So this tool, the YearCompass, it says on the back, made with love by an international team in Budapest, Hungary. And you can get it at yearcompass.com/GB. So yeah, I just want to share this tool with y'all. It's something that really helps kind of give yourself some closure, especially around the end of a year and the start of a new one. As we all know, like the past 2.5 years, I feel like haven't had that, or like, sturdy elements in them. So to be able to intentionally close a chapter, or in this case, like a pamphlet or a packet, and then open up a new one, like it's like stepping through a doorway almost. And I spoke about this with my friend Catherine on the previous episode. We were talking about how it's so important for us as human beings to have rituals in our lives. And this has become one. I really learned about this tool in high school, and I have visited it on and off over the past 5 years, I would say. So it's really been a huge help. So I'll just kind of want to break down what it is, what all the parts are, some of the really cool things about it, and maybe, kind of orally process some of the answers to these with y'all in the episode. So yeah, let's get into it. So one of the favorite things about this, when you open it up, the first page kind of tells you what it is. It is a booklet that helps you reflect on the past year and plan the next one. With a set of carefully selected questions and exercises, YearCompass helps you uncover your patterns and design a great year for yourself. The booklet has 2 distinct parts. The first half will help you review, learn from, and celebrate the year that you're leaving behind. The second half, on the other hand, is all about the future. You'll be dreaming, planning, and preparing to get the most out of the new year. And then it goes on to say, what do I need to fill out this booklet? And they suggest a pen or a pencil, a few hours of uninterrupted focus, and an open and honest mind. And I will tell you that part about uninterrupted focus is really important. When I do this traditionally, I have put all technology in a separate room because I really want to dedicate time to the practice. Then again, I also will use my phone because we'll get into it. They ask that you review your calendar, and sadly, so much of my calendar is wrapped up in Google Calendar. So sometimes I'll pull out my phone for that. But generally, for stuff that's more reflection based and not taking stock of what happened during the year, I will try to put all the distractions out from the room because it is really, really precious to be able to sit down and just kind of, brain dump. And the open and honest mind is an important part too. And then they also give you an option or suggestion if you want to do it in a group. They say, grab your friends, print out booklets for all of them, and find a comfortable space. Everyone should fill out their own, but you can take breaks to discuss the exercises and share your thoughts and feelings. If you do, please be mindful of your companion's boundaries. Everyone should only share things they're comfortable with. I think I did this in a group setting. And by group setting, it was definitely me and one other person. But I can imagine that if this was something that, say, you're doing on a retreat or, kind of like a book club or something, I'm kind of curious how that would go. But yeah, that last part about respecting people's boundaries is definitely a big thing. I don't think I've ever done it in a group besides that one time, so I've just kind of been alone doing it. So the next part of that, once you kind of understand and orient yourself to the practice, they have a page that says get ready, and they do recommend you kind of just, take a deep breath. It says on this page, arrive, period. Prepare your tools and the space around you. Close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths. Let go of your expectations. Start when you feel ready. And then I'm going to flip the page. And this is the part that I do use my phone for. I hardcore corroborate data for this part. So it says the past year. Going through your calendar. Go through your last year's calendar week by week. If you see an important event, family gathering, family get-together, or a significant project, write it down here. I'm glad that this is the first part, just so I can go through all my stuff and, use whatever technology that I want. But I will corroborate literally my Google Calendar. I will corroborate with a planner that I've had. I'm not very good at keeping planners. I did start a new one this year. We'll see how that goes. I'll corroborate with my planner. I'll also corroborate with my social media because my Instagram accounts, I would say for me, are very much like a virtual scrapbook. They just have so much in them. There's just so many crazy things. I get so much joy through scrolling through stuff that's happened in the past and just seeing the aesthetic that I, was feeling at that time or, whatever. So I will literally look at my planner, my phone, physical calendar if I do happen to have one. And then I will look at my social media because more often times than not, something will make it on there that I never wrote about or put in my planner. I'll also corroborate with my journal. I couldn't really do that much for this past year, I realized, because I just didn't write a lot. There was a lot going on. So that was really cool. And it just kind of helps walk you through literally every month, week by week. 52 weeks you go through and you see what's there. So this page, literally I had to start dividing the big box they give you into like sections, because I had one for January, February, March, April, May, June, and so on. So that's one of the fun parts, because it takes you down memory lane. And I can just share a couple of these with you. Like for January, I went back home to celebrate my best friend's birthday. We got our first tattoos. Well, it was my first tattoo together. February, I had just started a bunch of work with some clients, and it was a busy month. And then March was crazy. I spent my birthday in California. First time ever paragliding, exploring Houston when I did live in Texas. April was a hard month, but it was so full. Seeing a lot of friends and some traveling. I quit one of my positions. I believe Catherine and I talk about that too on the previous episode, if you want to hear more tea about that. I didn't really sign any contracts, so I can say more about that experience. I will not go into it here, but it was a very interesting time to kind of establish, like, what are my values here, and is the work that I'm doing currently aligning with my values. And everything was out of alignment, so I definitely had to walk away from that. But it was a great experience, very empowering. May was amazing. My younger brother, who went to my alma mater, graduated and also got engaged. That was so cute. It was the best. And then one of my good friends also got married. June feels like it was a messy month for many reasons. I adopted a turtle. I did a major rebrand of the SPW Design Media, the website, the business cards, everything. So it was a lot of like farming vibes, just like, watering things and nurturing what's out there and making things new. July, in Texas, super hot. Had a great wedding. It wasn't my wedding. It was someone else. Some house sitting. I went to a bachelorette party in a place I'd never been before. August, got a second tattoo. I went, just kind of explored the city more. Visited my cousin. And in between the months of June, July, and August, I made a new friend. So that's always fun. Making friends takes effort, especially as an adult. And then September, I feel like it was a really transformational and transitional period for me, because I had just kind of ended some contracts with some clients and decided that I really wanted to get the ball rolling on moving back to Colorado. So I was at the peak of job hunting and ended up scoring a job that I could do, as my kind of 9 to 5, and then, still have the room to be able to pursue like my clients that were still going to stay with me, and just dedicate to really ironing out some processes and back end for the business, because like there's always something to learn. There's always something to do better. There's always something that will break and then you have to fix it. So that was fun, but definitely at the end of the month ended up moving back to Colorado, which was amazing. An amazing feeling. October, another wedding, beautiful. Halloween. It's always been a dream of mine to do a Star Wars cosplay for Halloween, but I don't think I ever felt like confident enough to do something like that. So that was fun to do. And then my partner joined me, but I'm also moving up from Texas. He found a job as well. So that was crazy. I didn't expect it to happen that soon, but it did. And timing is weird like that. November was just another wedding. I feel like I can't go a year without dyeing my hair at least twice, and this was one of the months in which that happened. My dog passed away, unfortunately. Definitely ended up getting COVID for like half the month. And then I made another new friend. But that's life is weird like that. And then December rolls around, and by the time you know it, it's at the end of the freaking year. And it was weird. I feel like there's the social media images of people. You just witnessed my brain like short circuit in real time. There's the social media post where it shows like a calendar, a year zoomed out, and it shows that like the holidays, and it shows like end of November and all of December consumed by like Christmas. I feel like that's what December was, unfortunately. That could be good or bad depending on how you're looking at it, but just, did some house sitting, had some really, fun interactions with friends and whatnot. Finished up COVID. But yeah, so the past year, going through all of that, finding everything, writing it down, you kind of realize like, holy shit, I did a lot. And then the next part of it is another iteration of kind of the past year, but it's a little bit more zoomed out. So the next page says, this is what my last year was about. It says, we live our lives through distinct but interconnected aspects. Take a look at the areas below and ask yourself what the significant events in each of them were. Write down your answers. And the cool thing about this is kind of divides it up into 8 pieces. So one box will have like personal life, family, and you kind of write down significant events in each of them. Then there's one for career and studies, friends, community, relaxation, hobbies, creativity, physical health, fitness, mental health, self-knowledge, habits that define you, and a better tomorrow with an asterisk that says, what did you do this year to leave the world in better shape than you find it? For the sake of this podcast, I feel like I will just elaborate a little bit on the relaxation, hobbies, and creativity box. I wrote down a few things here, podcasting being one of them with an exclamation point. I think I was managing a podcast for a client before this one, and really enjoyed being able to talk to people, and the whole, process of producing it and everything was amazing. And so I'm so glad that has, kind of evolved over the past year. Even though there's not been that many episodes, just like the process of doing stuff. I do like watching shows with folks, as part of, just like shared knowledge and just sitting down and whatever. So I've watched some Abbott Elementary. Actually, need to catch up with one of my friends from home, and then Dylan and I watched Game of Thrones, me for the first time. I held off. I did not buy into all the Game of Thrones hype when it was popular, when it was out. But since, oh my gosh, what is it called? Something of the Dragon. the new one that came out. I wanted to watch everything because I wanted to have an understanding of what was going on. Turns out you can House of the Dragon, that's what it's called. Turns out you can watch House of the Dragon without seeing Game of Thrones and really, like, you'd be fine. But it's nice to know, like, some backstory and some tensions and some histories between the, like, factions of the universe or whatever. Let's see, another hobby, I guess, was making cards. Definitely making Christmas cards. For birthdays or other stuff that came up. Taking baths, doing floor workouts, reading. Sometimes I feel like I read the best on planes. I did read at least one book last year. I think it was more than that. And then just like, design stuff. So like there's an account that I follow that will come up with new brief ideas like every 2 weeks or so. And so you just like kind of design a thing for this mythical brand, and then you can submit your work to their page and they can look at it and whatever. So a lot of stuff like that. So just stuff to unwind and whatnot. So yeah, you go through these 8 sectors really, and you just kind of put down some stuff that stood out to you. Man, today was Monday. I feel as like, why is my brain so tired? But I really want to get this episode out, so we're here. And that's what matters. Then we go into another page, and it says 6 sentences about my past year. And it's basically sentence completion, which is quite interesting. When I do go through and read past years, I turn to this section first, and I compare them side by side. It's insane to see the difference between them. So the first one says, the wisest decision I made, the biggest lesson I learned, the biggest risk I took, the biggest surprise of the year, the most important thing I did for others, and the biggest thing I completed. And so you complete all those things. With those things. I am a sentence run-on kind of person, so I will literally use like commas and semicolons and whatever to, you got to capture the whole thought, right? The next page, similar to the last one, is 6 questions about my past year. So, number 1, what are you most proud of? Number 2, who are the 3 people who influenced you the most? Who are the 3 people you influenced the most? What were you not able to accomplish? What is the best thing you have discovered about yourself? And what are you most grateful for? This is also interesting to compare side by side with past ones that I filled out. And let's see. The next one is the best moments. And this is kind of cool the way they lay it out. There's a massive box, kind of no lines or anything. You just kind of put your stuff in there. It says, describe the greatest and most memorable, joyful moments from last year. Draw them on this sheet. How did you feel? Who was there with you? What were you doing? What kind of smells, sounds, or tastes do you remember? Depending on my mood, I know in the past I've drawn like little illustrations. There's actually a few in here, actually. But for this year, I found myself doing like kind of mind mappy things. So just drawing like a hub of a main idea and then little lines leading away from it that have like little pieces of information, smells, sounds, tastes, etc. It's just all like word association almost. So the cool thing about this is that there's literally no rules. You can do whatever the heck you want. And then I'm going to flip over to the next page, and in full transparency, I am only halfway through this. I have not finished yet. In years past, I feel like I would be like, wow, you're such a loser. You haven't completed this before January 1st. But the reality is that any day can be your first day. And why I'm putting myself in that box and pressure to complete it by a certain time is beyond me. Actually, I know probably why that is. I'm just deciding to not listen to that voice this year. So yes, this next page, we're still in the past year. It asks you to list out 3 of your biggest accomplishments. List your 3 greatest accomplishments from last year here. And then there's another box that says, what did you do to achieve these? And then the last one says, who helped you achieve these successes and how? I really love that because you can just kind of really be intentional about like who like held the ladder for you, you know? The next section of that is 3 of my biggest challenges. List your 3 biggest challenges from last year here. Who or what helped you overcome these challenges? What have you learned about yourself by overcoming these challenges? These are all really awesome questions, and when I do answer them, I do also like to go back in time and see other responses, because looking at them, I don't know, it just kind of helps you think about all the shit that you have been able to get through. And then we have perhaps the 2 hardest pages of the past year portion. At least they are for me. This one section is called Forgiveness. It says, did anything happen during the past year that still needs to be forgiven? Deeds or words that made you feel bad? Or are you angry with yourself? Write it down here. Do yourself good by forgiving. And then there's an asterisk after the word forgiving, which I love. That asterisk says, if you don't feel ready to forgive yet, jot it down anyway. It can work wonders. Yes, this is true. So that is a loaded one, I feel like. It gets pretty deep on that one. And then the next page of this section, and I think it's the last one. Nope, not quite. Second to last. This one is called Letting Go. Is there anything else you need to say? Is there anything else you have to let go of before you can start your next year? Draw or write and then think about it and let it all go. Shit's hard. Sometimes I will accompany this page with a burning. The pyromaniac in me has delighted in the past in writing some stuff down on slips of paper, and then like those items that you'd rather let go of, and then you burn them in a fire, preferably outside. Don't do this inside. Oh, sorry guys. Man, wow. It is also like 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, so I'm already on that post day slope. All right, well, the last page of this part that is the past year, also really interesting to compare with past years, is the past year in 3 words. Choose 3 words to define your past year. It's hard often to stick to 3 words, but it's quite fun when you compare across years. The book of my past year. A book or movie was made about your past year. What title would you give it? That's always interesting. And then there's a little box that says goodbye to your last year. If there's anything else that you would like to write down, or there's anybody you would like to say goodbye to, do it now. And there's a box for you. And then at the very bottom it says, you're done with the past year. You have just finished the first part. Take a deep breath. Get some rest. Honestly, I don't know if I could realistically do this all in one session. I don't know if I have powered all the way through before in years past, but those last few pages are really hard. And I anticipate they will be hard again this year. And so literally no shame in doing the first half, taking a rest, sleeping on it, and then going again when you feel ready. So we're just going to flip actually to the next section. I have not done any of this at all, but as I'm reading through, I'm, kind of thinking of ideas in my brain. So Then it gives you a page that says 2023 in the middle. Flip the page. Similar format to the first part, but it says, dare to dream big. What does the year ahead of you look like? Why will it be great? What would happen in an ideal world? Oh, sorry, man. And then it says, write, draw, let go of your expectations, and dare to dream. Literally, just word vomit all the things that you want out of this year on this page. And then, similarly to the last section, this is what my next year will be about. It gives you those 8 categories. Take a look at the areas of your life and decide your goals for each of them in the next year. Put those goals on the page. This is the first step towards realizing them. So again, personal life, family, career and studies, friends and community, relaxation, hobbies, creativity, physical health, fitness, mental health, self-knowledge, habits that define you, and a better tomorrow. So fill in those things. And then this page says magical triplets for the year ahead. So very affirmation centered, I feel like. There are 6 boxes on this page. One says, I will love these 3 things. Ugh. I will love these 3 things about myself. I am ready to let go of these 3 things. I want to achieve these 3 things the most. These 3 people will be my pillars during rough times. I will dare to discover these 3 things. I will have the power to say no to these 3 things. This is going to be a doozy, man. And then there's another page, more triplets. I will make my surroundings cozy with these 3 things. I will do these 3 things every morning. I will pamper myself with these 3 things regularly. I will visit these 3 places. I will connect with my loved ones in these 3 ways. I will reward my successes with these 3 presents. Gift. Treat yourself. And then we have the 6 sentences section, a little different this time. This year I will not procrastinate anymore over ... This year I will draw the most energy from. This year I will be bravest when. This year I will say yes when. This year I advise myself to. This year will be special for me because. And then this is the last page. It says, my word for the year ahead. Pick a word to symbolize and define the year ahead. You can look at this word if you need some extra energy, so you remember not to give up in your dreams. Love that. You write your word there. And then the last box is a secret wish. I wish I would stop yawning. Oh my God. But I really wanted to get this episode done. Okay. The secret wish says, unleash your mind. What is your secret wish for the next year? You put that in the box, and at the very bottom of the page, it says, congratulations, you've just planned your year. Take a photo and share it with us using the YearCompass hashtag. I probably won't do that. I don't know. This is more for me. Just, it's nice to have a stack of them just on a quiet bookshelf that I can look at from year to year. Honestly, I haven't looked at the past years yet. This month or the past month. So I honestly think that would be good to do. And then you close it. And on the very, very back page, it says, I believe anything is possible this year. You date it with the date that you finished it, and then you sign it. It's like closing a book and signing a letter. It's just a very beautiful whole circle. And by whole circle, I meant full circle. Beautiful way to kind of close the loop and give yourself some, much needed closure or whatever you do need out of this. Honestly, I feel like I get something different out of it every single time that I do it. But yeah, it is an amazing tool. I think that we need to have as much reflection in our lives as we do planning, and this is a perfect combination of both. The YearCompass really is super easy to get. You can print it at home. You can just keep it on your computer, whatever you want to do. I do recommend this practice 10 out of 10. But because it is a new year, just wanted to share this in case you'd never heard of it before, or want to try something, or feel like you want to be more mindful going into the new year. I don't like the word resolutions, and I feel like half the internet doesn't like the word resolutions. Instead, using the word intentions is a lot more realistic, I think, and very in now. So, do with that what you will. Yes, that is that. This episode definitely is very rambly. I'm not going to apologize, but I do wish you plenty of joy, rest, rejuvenation, and returning to yourself in this coming year. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon in a new episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Creatives Off the Clock podcast. If you would like to continue the conversation, you can find me and more podcast content on Instagram at SPW Design Media. Henry Matisse says that creativity takes courage, so I wish you the space, time, and intention to be courageous, to be curious, and to make some creative choices. I'll see you next time.